Breaking news. The LGBTQ community is important to me, but I wish the GOP would focus on war criminals like Putin instead. Republican presidential candidate Will Hurd said on Sunday that he wished his party would stop talking about "my friends in the LGBTQ community." Many of your Republican detractors are attempting to make the issue of LGBTQ rights into a political football. Tell them, what's your message? CNN's State of the Union host Dana Bash asked the question. My message is that I'd prefer they target actual war criminals, like Vladimir Putin, rather than my LGBTQ+ friends. It is 2023. What we really need to be discussing is how to celebrate our differences. This is what Hurd remarked. The presidential candidate's remarks follow a contentious week for the Supreme Court, which included the decision that a Christian web designer in Colorado can legally refuse services to LGBTQ people on the grounds that doing so violates the First Amendment. Because of this decision, I feel uneasy knowing that we are protecting speech with which I disagree. And I don't share an anti-LGBTQ attitude. Nonetheless, we must be guarding the speech even if we do not approve of or agree with the speech being protected. Hurd characterized the issue as fundamental to our country. On Sunday, Hurd mentioned a new Cold War, with Beijing and the rapid development of AI as issues we should be talking about. We're stronger as a unit. When it comes to addressing the world's most pressing issues, how we use our diversity to solve them, he argues that it's imperative that we have leaders who actively promote and safeguard such diversity. Last month, Hurd became one of many Republicans, including Trump and Pence, and Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, to run in the Republican primary for president in 2024. After being released from prison in exchange for American basketball player Brittany Griner, Putin's merchant of death arms dealer is now running for office in Russia as a far-right candidate. This year, Victor Bout plans to run for office as a far-right candidate for the Liberal Democrat Party, which is known for its support of Vladimir Putin. The LDPR is a far-right and nationalist party that backs President Putin's war in Ukraine despite its name. Griner, a professional basketball player for the United States, spent 9 years in prison for possessing hash oil. Bout was released in exchange for her in December. After being found guilty of plotting the murder of American citizens and government officials by a federal court in 2011, Bout was sentenced to 25 years in prison in the United States. After his arrest in 2008 by American agents in Thailand, he was labeled one of the world's most prolific arms dealers by the United States Department of Justice. The merchant of death had denied any involvement despite selling weapons all over the world to terrorists and American enemies for decades. Andrei Lugavoy, wanted in Britain for the 2006 murder of ex-KGB officer and Putin critic Alexander Litvinenko, has previously found refuge in the LDPR. After being returned to the United States in the prisoner exchange, Griner has continued playing basketball. Griner admitted guilt in court, saying she was sorry for her honest mistake. Griner's voice wavered as she addressed her teammates, club, fans, and the city of Yekaterinburg. I want to apologize for the mistake that I made and the embarrassment that I brought on them, she said. My apologies extend to my wonderful family and friends at home in Phoenix, the Phoenix Mercury organization, the incredible women of the WNBA, and my supportive and understanding husband and wife. The two-time Olympic gold medalist continued, I made an honest mistake, and I hope in your ruling it does not end my life. Along with Harris and Griner's wife Cherelle, Biden gave a speech to the nation after Griner's release from the White House, telling the audience that this was a day we'd worked for a long time. He expressed gratitude to the United Arab Emirates, where the exchange took place, and the government officials who had worked tirelessly to secure her release.